Hello everybody. So, questions and answers. Several pages of questions here, so we'll crack straight on. These are in no particular order. Doug McCartin, what's your favourite beer of all time? Well, this has been my favourite for quite a while. Hobgoblin from the Wychwood Brewery. It's a dark ale, 6.6%, brewed on the full moon. Now Doug's other question was, what's your favourite traditional knife pattern? And I don't have a single favourite traditional, but I do have a type. I like those traditional patterns that have a large blade and a small blade hinged at the same end. So peanuts, mini trappers, Barlow knives, that kind of thing. Oh, lovely. Just set a timer running because I've only got about 10 minutes filming time on my camera and I don't want to be wobbling on after it stopped recording. If you had to give up one thing, what would it be? I don't know really. I suppose I could say give up collecting knives because I've got quite a few now. So that wouldn't necessarily ruin my life. Tea or coffee? Depends what time of day it is. I do like a coffee in the morning. I try not to have too much coffee in the second half of the day. If a tree falls down in the woods and there's no one and nothing there to hear it, does it still make a sound? No. It will cause a disturbance in the air, but without a brain linked to an ear in the near vicinity, no sound can be perceived. So, should have said those were Z, not Z7. Fort Worth Glock Guy, how long have you been a vegetarian and is there a reason? It's over 10 years now, and Knife Techs replied to that comment with a link to a video I did where I discussed that at length. The quick answer is, for a long time I was struggling with the cruelty in the commercial slaughter system. I tried to eat meat that wasn't produced that way, so rifle shot venison, wild fowl, things like that. It was quite expensive way to eat meat, especially I wasn't earning a lot of money at the time. And then one day something happened that basically made my mind up. I no longer wanted anything to have to die to fill my belly. Obviously if it was a case of kill and eat an animal or starve, then I'd kill and eat the animal, but in Western Europe in 2016 you don't need to kill anything. Diodora 9292, are you a Monty Python fan? Yes. I haven't watched any Monty Python for a long time. I think the heyday, it's over 20 years ago now. But it's nice to see Holy Grail, Meaning of Life, some of the sketches. They're nice to see every now and again. But they definitely were as good as everybody said. Wink Soda 86, what got you into collecting knives and at what age? I've always liked knives really, ever since I was a kid. Did a school project at junior school, I would have been 7 or 8, on medieval armour. Actually collecting knives was only 3-4 years ago. I came across a Mora Scout 39 that I used to have as a teenager. Didn't realise they were still on sale, bought one, and that's what set it all off. What's your favourite all-time British sitcom? I used to watch things like Porridge, and some of the other classics like that. But then again, they're a long time ago now, 30, 40 years ago. In recent times, Phone Shop has been very, very good. If you see Phone Shop on YouTube, watch it. I think they did 2 series, 6 episodes each. The first one is an absolute scream. Tim Blank J, how many licks does it take to get to the centre of a Tootsie Pop? I have no idea. I've never had a Tootsie Pop, I don't think. But if I was eating a lollipop, I usually get bored before I get to the end of it and just crunch it up. Shiny Knife, do you ever go outside? Yes. Obviously I work full time. I used to do a lot of hill walking and long distance walking, and I don't do that anymore. Since I was ill a couple of years ago, my mobility is quite badly impaired. I can hobble to the shop at the end of the street with my walking stick, but hiking and rambling is out of the question at the moment. Have you ever shot a gun? No. Were you ever in the MI7 programme? Not sure what that is. In the UK there was a thing called 7up, where every 7 years they do a study of the same group of kids as they grew up, and I think they stopped doing it when they got to 56. I don't know if that's the same kind of thing. Douglock 23, what's your Grail knife? I haven't got one Grail knife. There are a few that I would like. I'd like something from Redpath Knife and Tool. I've got one from the old days, but I like what he's doing with wood and leather now. And I would like a slip joint with real mother of pearl scales, and something with mammoth ivory. Not mammoth ivory, beg your pardon, mammoth tooth. So that's quite unlikely at the moment because that's not going to be cheap. The Fat Man, Brother Chad, favourite British personality or celebrity? Not really into celebrities much. When I watch the telly, I tend to watch documentaries. So it'd be people like Lucy Worsley, doing the history documentaries. She's the keeper of the royal palaces. On the science side, it would be people like Jim Al-Khalili. He's professor of, I think he's professor for public engagement with science at Sussex University. I think that's it really. As I'm getting older, I don't tend to get caught up in following individual people for who they are like I would when I was younger. So I certainly don't celebrity watch. Brent Outdoors, have you ever thought about making your own knife or brewing your own beer? I have thought about making my own knife. I haven't got any time really, and I haven't got any space, because I wouldn't want to jump in just with a vice and a couple of files. I'd want a little grinder, a little drill press, and it all sort of adds up. So I don't think it's practical really at the moment. I have brewed beer in the past, from a kit, but a proper big barrel. It was nice and all. It was, I think it was Norfolk Wherry Ale. Sort of dark, nutty beer. Not done that for a long time. Again, don't have the space really at the moment. So, time is running out. I'll join you again in a second. Right then, on with part 2. Ed A to Z. When do you think you will try some Jim Beam Devil's Cut? Now. got some. So let's give it a go. Ed's been asking me to try this for a while. I've just never got round to it. And to be honest, I've only had Jim Beam once before, and it was the ordinary white label one. And it's pretty crap. And I can't even get in this, so it's sealed. Ah, there we go. Glass. Yeah, clean. We have a decent slug. So Jim Beam Devil's Cut, 90% proof, which is 45% alcohol by volume. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Smells quite nice actually. The one thing that's worrying me is they say that they've discovered a process to get all the flavour out of the barrel wood. And the way really you do that is just leave it in the barrel. So I'm not sure whether they've got some sort of mechanical or chemical process to mince up the barrel wood so it imparts flavour to the whiskey. I don't know, we'll see. But it smells nice. That's not half bad. It smells like it's going to be very smoky, but it's not really. It's a bit that way. And it's quite a sweet whiskey. But I'm very pleasantly surprised. I really rather like that. Now, onwards. Stuttering Bob. Has there ever been anything in your life that you truly regret? Anything you've done or has been done to you? And if so, what was it? Well, sitting here now in 2016, I'd have to say no. When I was a young man, there were things that I regretted at the time. Relationship things. Nobody normal enjoys hurting other people or, you know, that sort of thing. And I think it's important at the time to feel regret, because it's one of the ways your conscience teaches you. But you can't carry it with you forever. I'm talking about 30 years ago now. And it's like hate. If you carry it with you all your life, it eats you up from the inside. So there are a few small things that I wish I'd done differently, but any significant decisions or choices, I'm quite happy to let them stand as they are, because ultimately, if I'd done anything significant in a different way, I may not end up where I am now, with Mrs. Nicest Knives. IPA beer is popular in Britain. When I was there in the 80s, it was just lager and heavy. That's Chris Thompson. Yes, they are. And over the past 10 years or so, as the popularity of microbrewers and traditional beers has grown, they're a lot easier to get hold of. Back in the 80s, there was a lot of shit beer about because there weren't many people making quality beers, like the Witchwood. And IPA is a British beer, India Pale Ale, made with extra hops as a preservative and extra alcohol as a preservative, so that it would survive the journey by sea to India. So yeah, IPA is very popular, especially with me. Butty Bark. Where do you get all your different beers from? Tesco's mainly. I did get some as a Christmas gift from a specialist beer shop. But by and large, it's just Tesco's, and I'm running out of interesting things on Tesco's now. Maybutron. Do you have any hobbies outside knife collecting? Not specifically. I played the guitar for a long time, but since I've been ill with the nerve problems, I haven't got the dexterity in my fingers, so I haven't really kept up with that for the past couple of years, which is a shame, because I've not long got a really nice Faith acoustic guitar. Well, I still dabble about a bit, just to make sure there's one or two pieces that I don't want to forget how to play, but I can't really do it anymore. I collect books on witchcraft and the occult and paganism, and I think that's about it. As I mentioned earlier, I don't get out doing the hill walking or long distance walking anymore. That was a big one. Tom A. What do you do for a living, and have you ever been to the States? What I do for a living, I work in an office in the complaints department of a large company, and that's probably as much as I can say on YouTube. And no, I've never been to the States. Fort Worth Glock guy, is there a knife that you would love to have but you'll likely never get because of the price? Yeah, the Felkniven, the big Thor, is it the N1? Big sort of hunting knife. That's going to be a stupid amount of money. I'm a Forester. Tell us about a time you recognise from your YouTube videos. Well, it's only happened once. Back when I was ill, I was sat in the doctor's surgery in the waiting room, and one of my subscribers walked up. He works as a medical courier, taking blood samples and reports and things between the doctor's surgeries and the hospitals. He just walked up and introduced himself. Completely flummoxed me because I wasn't expecting it. It never happened since. Then that's over 2 years ago. B. Joseph 264. If you could only have 3 knives, what would they be? And if you could only have 1 knife, what would it be? 3 knives. They have to be the Chiros knives Morlander. A chunky Swiss Army knife, like the one-handed Forester. And something a bit gentlemanly. Perhaps one of the Lagiols, the white bone-handled Artisan Coutelier one. And if you could only have 1 knife, what would it be? It'd have to be the Morlander. Because once you've got that in your hand, you can probably get whatever knife you want. Is there a particular tattoo you have that has extra special meaning to you? There's only 2 that have significant meaning. The Green Man. And this one that's on my right calf. Both tattoos being confirmations of and signifiers of my pagan beliefs. And I think we're running out of time there for part 2, so I'll come back in a minute. Right, 1 sheet of questions left. Fort Worth Glock guy. When you're just relaxing at home, what kind of music do you listen to? Relaxing music. And that's not as facetious as it sounds. When I was a young man, I could relax listening to any kind of music. Motorhead, AC/DC. Didn't matter if it was loud and aggressive. But now I'm older, I can only listen to that kind of music when I'm feeling upbeat. If I want to relax and chill out, it has to be chill out music. So I like singer-songwriter stuff. Simon and Garfunkel, Beth Orton, Catherine Williams, or chill out stuff like the first Fun Loving Criminals album, or Portishead, more Chiba, things like that. Stuff that has a nice chill vibe. Knife Techs. My question is, what is the thing you've built that you're most proud of? I don't know if there's a single thing. Years and years ago, when I was in my early 20s, I was involved with a volunteer conservation group that was run by a conservation charity. And we did some pretty good stuff, to be honest. A lot of the volunteers were unskilled, but a core group of us really got involved learning skills and running the group on a day-to-day basis on site. So we do things like post and rail fencing, post and wire fencing, dry stone walling, building footpaths of various kinds. So I've done some stone pitched footpath up Pendle Hill, which was really nice. There's a gravel pit at Sale Water Park. It's by the side of the motorway, and it was dug out for gravel for the motorway. And part of that's a nature reserve. And we did some fencing round there. And that was quite a big job for a volunteer group, and we really got it down. Done some nice hedge laying, not as much as I would have liked. So although there isn't a single thing, we achieved a lot with that group that people didn't expect us to do, because they thought they were all numpties and losers. And plenty of them were, but there was a few of us who really got stuff done. Mr. Bullet Points. My question is, what kind of work do you do? You may have mentioned it before, but I didn't see it. Well, I haven't mentioned it before today, but I did touch on that earlier in this video. And I think really, given the job that I do, the company that I work for, I think that was as much as I could reasonably say on YouTube. JW's Bullets and Blades. How many Ninja Stars did or do you own? I don't own any. All That Kind of Caper was banned in the mid-80s, I think it was. I had a few. They're only cheap, nasty ones. We used to go down to Chinatown and visit the martial arts shops. And they had nice, proper hardened, machined and polished stainless steel Ninja Stars, but we could only afford the ones that were stamped out of really cheap grainy steel, so they used to bend or snap, but you could buy them if you didn't have much money. So over a couple of summers I probably got through a dozen of them, from sort of 3-inch ones up to maybe 6-inch. They'd usually be painted black to hide the fact that it was crap steel, with white writing on and a picture of a dragon and that kind of caper. And they were rubbish, but they were fun. And I think the last question is from Lars in Denmark. Who's that sharp looking guy on your channel photo? Suit and sunglasses and all. Well, that sharp looking fella is me, before my beard went grey. Although I'm not wearing a suit, it's a German army shirt and a leather waistcoat. Don't ask. So there we have it. 5 pages, I think, of questions and answers. Hope I provided you with a little bit of illumination. And that's it, I think. I've taken up enough of your time already, so I shall just wish you a good weekend and cheers.